Greetings everyone out there on YouTube. Mason has entered the battlefield. Today I am bringing you guys another Star Wars review, and luckily this one isn't another review on the Star Wars Holiday Special. No way, Jose. Today I am bringing you a review of my new favorite Star Wars standalone movie besides Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and having a positive-negative border on the Star Wars Holiday Special. Solo, A Star Wars Story. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Solo t-shirt just for this special video. You'll be filled in on how much I love this film, so let's just get started. But before we start, I will warn those of you who still haven't seen the movie that what I will talk about in this video will contain spoilers. Alright, so even though I liked Rogue One a lot when it came out almost 2 years ago, and I'm on the border of liking and disliking the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Enough is enough!
Thanks, Sam Jackson. If I talked more on that, I would have driven all of you guys bonkers. Anyways, back to Solo. I cannot express enough how much this film took me by surprise when I first saw it. Believe it or not, I treated a close friend of mine to see it with me, and then he treated me in return to see Incredibles 2 with me, and then it came back to me when I treated my mom to see Incredibles 2 with me. Just thought I'd mention that funny little story. Back to the topic at hand. The fact that we get a new standalone Star Wars film on one of our Rebel heroes is phenomenal. Ever since The Force Awakens came out in 2015, I'm sure many people were wondering how Han Solo came to be in the first place before A New Hope. I sure was. And thanks to Solo, we got our wish granted. Fun fact, Solo was released on May 25th of this year, which marked Star Wars' 41st anniversary. And then the book Most Wanted by Ray Carson was released coincided with the film. It's nice to have a Star Wars film focusing on how our beloved Corellian smuggler came into the Star Wars universe before the events of Episode 4 occurred. The choice of characters was also a nice touch, and their personalities are a nice touch as well to be in the film. Han Solo being the crackshot and cynical person he is and has been since A New Hope. Kira being the type of person who dreams of something big to happen in the future. Lando being the suave fellow he is and has been since The Empire Strikes Back. Tobias Beckett being a little like Han, but as a thief, being a crackshot like Han. Rio Durant working with Beckett and having that cynical humor like Han. Dryden Voss being a collector of ancient relics of the galaxy while labeled as the public face of Crimson Dawn. Enfys Nest being the founder of the Cloud Riders in order to fight Crimson Dawn and the Galactic Empire. L337 being an ignorant comedy gold and witty droid, and even Darth Maul's cameo at the end of the film and his reveal of him being Crimson Dawn's leader. Then there's the music, which I love the most about Star Wars movies and other films in general. I have to give props to John Powell for creating such beautiful music that fits the film so well. There are a few pieces by Powell that I love the most that I will lay down. Meet Han, Reminiscence Therapy, and Into the Maw. If you guys didn't already know, John Williams himself contributed to Solo's score by writing Han's own theme, The Adventures of Han. If I was a music critic, I would say that the music of Solo totally takes the icing on the cake, and rank it number 1. Sure, the score for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story by Michael Giacchino was cool, and he did scores for other Disney movies like Up, The Incredibles, and even Jurassic World, a non-Disney movie. But John Powell's work on the score for Solo totally tops Rogue One's score. Another awesome thing about Solo has to be the planets. For the first time in the current Star Wars canon, we got to see the shipbuilding planet of Corellia, where Han was born. Coronet City was also thrown in, which makes it better. Then there's Mimban, a planet that was only mentioned in the Clone Wars TV series. We finally got to see what Mimban looks like in canon. I would like to see a mod on Mimban for the classic edition of Star Wars Battlefront 2 someday, even though it's on the Pax and Pure K mod, but I would like to see it on its own. Then there's the planet that reminds everyone of Hoth, Vandor. The landscape is very different than Hoth, but with all that snow, it takes people back to episode 5. Can't forget the action of the Conveyex heist and the sad deaths of Rio and Val. Then there's the spice mines of Kessel, the place in Star Wars that everyone has been dreaming of. We got to see what the big nebula cluster surrounding Kessel looks like for the first time in canon, and what the planet actually looks like, especially because it was used for the mining of the hyperfuel source, coaxium. One thing that will always top the film in my opinion every time I see it is the famous Kessel Run. I'm sure everyone, including myself, has been itching to see the Kessel Run in a Star Wars movie, and Solo didn't fail to show us how Han completed it in less than 12 parsecs, even though Lando thought it was impossible to complete the run in 20 parsecs. And lastly, there's Savareen. Not much of an inhabitable planet from the looks of it, but it does look like an excellent vacation spot with the wide open ocean and lots of sand.
It's coarse, and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
So props to Solo for making it possible for our wishes to come true. Props especially go out to Ron Howard, who not only directed Solo, but also directed How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 18 years ago. If I left anything out that I was going to mention in the review, please let me know in the comments and tell me what you think. Because now it's time to give my final thoughts on this awesome film before closing out. I cannot express enough how fantastic Solo, a Star Wars story is. It's funny, it's action-packed, it's everything you'd expect in a Star Wars film. However, what I wish wouldn't happen with Star Wars standalone films is having some of the minor characters killed off like 30 minutes into the film, which is very aggravating to some Star Wars fans. Minor characters could have an impact on the film sometime later, but Disney just decides to get rid of them halfway through, which leaves us scratching our heads and wondering why Disney is doing so. It happened in Rogue One, and it just had to happen again in Solo. That's the only bad thing I wanted to bring up about Solo, but overall the film tops Rogue One and is a great story of how our legendary hero was brought into the Star Wars universe and what he did long before the events of the original trilogy, and his eventual death in The Force Awakens. That's why my final rating for Solo, a Star Wars story, is a 10 out of 10. Thanks everyone so much for watching and listening. If you liked this video, go ahead and smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content on anything and everything Star Wars or other things in general. And hit that bell to join my notification squad so you'll be notified of my new videos in the future. Have a good day everyone, and may the Force be with you, always.